Welcome to English with Podcast. I'm Emma, and today we're diving into a topic that affects us all: shopping.
And I'm Jack. We'll be exploring the age-old debate of online versus offline shopping. Are you Team Click or Team Brick?
Great question, Jack. Before we jump in, let's explain those terms for our English learners. When we say click, we're referring to online shopping. You know, clicking your mouse to make purchases on the internet.
Exactly. And brick refers to traditional brick-and-mortar stores, physical shops you can walk into. It's a play on words combining click for online and brick for physical stores.
Clever. Now, I have to say, I'm a big fan of online shopping. The convenience is unbeatable. I can shop anytime, anywhere, even in my pajamas at 2 a.m. if I want to.
That's true, Emma. But for me, nothing beats the experience of walking into a store, touching the products, and interacting with knowledgeable staff. It's not just shopping, it's an outing.
I see your point, Jack, but let's break this down a bit. First, let's talk about convenience. Online shopping allows you to compare prices across multiple stores in seconds. No driving from store to store or dealing with parking hassles.
Fair enough. But what about the waiting game? With online shopping, you have to wait for your items to be delivered. In a physical store, you get instant gratification. You can take your purchase home immediately.
That's true, but many online retailers now offer same-day or next-day delivery. Plus, you avoid long checkout lines. No more standing in a queue, or as we sometimes say, waiting in line.
You've got me there. But what about the ability to see, touch, and try items before buying? Especially with clothing or furniture, it's crucial to check the quality and fit.
You're right. That can be a downside of online shopping. But many online retailers now offer virtual try-on features or augmented reality to see how items might look in your space. Plus, most have generous return policies.
That's interesting. I didn't know about those features. Can you give an example of how that works?
Sure. Let's say you're shopping for a new sofa. Some furniture websites let you use your smartphone camera to place a 3D model of the sofa in your living room. You can see how it fits and looks in your space before buying.
Wow, that's pretty cool. But I still enjoy the social aspect of shopping in person. You can make a day of it with friends, grab lunch, and get opinions on your choices in real time.
I can't argue with that. Online shopping can be a bit solitary, but on the flip side, you can easily share links with friends to get their opinions. And many sites have user reviews that can be really helpful.
Speaking of reviews, that's one area where online shopping definitely has an advantage. It's so easy to research products and read experiences from other customers.
Absolutely. It's like having access to hundreds of opinions before making a decision. Oh, and let's not forget about deals and discounts. Online shops often have better prices because they have lower overhead costs.
That's true, but physical stores have sales too. And sometimes you can negotiate prices in person, especially for big-ticket items. You can't exactly haggle with a website.
That's a good point. To haggle means to negotiate the price, by the way. It's not something we typically do in most stores, but it can happen with certain items or in certain cultures.
Right. Let's give our listeners an example of haggling. Say you're at a flea market and you see a vintage lamp priced at $50. You might say to the seller, "Would you take $40 for this lamp?" That's haggling.
Great example. And the seller might counter with $45, and you could agree on that price. It's a back-and-forth negotiation.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about another aspect, the shopping experience itself. In a physical store, you can get personalized advice from sales associates. They might suggest items that complement your purchase or help you find exactly what you need.
That's true, but online shopping has its own version of that. Many websites use algorithms to recommend products based on your browsing history or previous purchases. Plus, there are often detailed product descriptions and specs available.
I see your point. But what about the sensory experience? In a store, you can touch fabrics, smell perfumes, or taste food samples. That's hard to replicate online.
You're right, that's definitely a limitation of online shopping, although some companies are trying to bridge that gap. For example, some cosmetics brands offer sample kits you can order before committing to a full-size product.
Interesting. Let's not forget about the environmental aspect. Online shopping can mean more packaging waste and transportation emissions.
That's a valid concern. though some might argue that driving to multiple stores could also increase one's carbon footprint. It's definitely something to consider.
True. And speaking of environmental impact, what about the concept of showrooming? Do you know what that means, Emma?
Yes, showrooming is when people visit physical stores to see and try products in person, but then purchase them online, often at a lower price. It's a challenge for brick-and-mortar retailers.
Exactly. On the flip side, there's also web rooming, where people research products online but then buy them in store. It shows how the lines between online and offline shopping are blurring.
That's a great point, Jack. It highlights how consumers are becoming more savvy, using both online and offline channels to their advantage.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about security. Some people worry about the safety of their personal and financial information when shopping online. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a valid concern. It's important to shop from reputable websites and look for secure payment options. Look for HTTPS in the website address and padlock symbols, which indicate a secure connection.
Good advice. In physical stores, you need to be careful too, like protecting your PIN when using a card or being aware of your surroundings when carrying cash.
Exactly. Whether online or offline, it's always important to be mindful of security. Now let's discuss another aspect, the variety of products available.
That's where I think physical stores still have an edge, especially for certain items. For example, if you're shopping for fresh produce, you can pick out exactly the fruits and vegetables you want.
True, but online grocery shopping is becoming more popular. Some services even allow you to specify how ripe you want your bananas or avocados.
Really? I didn't know that. I guess both methods are continuously evolving and improving.
Definitely. And for our English learners, this conversation has been full of useful shopping vocabulary. We've covered terms like haggle, showrooming, web rooming, and more.
That's right. And don't forget common phrases like try on for clothing, browse for looking around a store or website, and add to cart for online shopping.
Great additions, Jack. It seems like both online and offline shopping have their place, depending on what you're buying and what's important to you at the time.
I agree, Emma. It doesn't have to be an either-or situation. We can enjoy the convenience of online shopping for some things and the experience of in-store shopping for others.
Exactly. And for our English learners out there, remember that whether you're shopping online or in-store, you're building valuable language skills. You're learning to read product descriptions, ask questions, and negotiate. All important parts of mastering English.
Great point, Emma. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope this discussion has given you some food for thought about your own shopping habits.
And maybe some new English vocabulary too. Remember, whether you click or brick, the most important thing is to shop wisely and within your budget.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening to English with Podcast. Until next time, happy shopping, everyone.